This is the Original Sin, the Collective Intelligence Network. Hello there, sinners, my Collective Intelligence Network nodes and agents. My name's Stephen Coupland. I am a polymath, and I'm here today to talk to you about manifesting. That's apparently a way to create your reality or change your reality or affect your reality. And I must admit that my reality recently has been totally fixated on this collective intelligence network, the cognitive gradient innovation index, and exactly how all these things can work together in a way that is going to benefit humanity en masse. And the more that I've been thinking about it, the more that I've been working through it all and reaching out to different areas, the more that I'm starting to see this manifesting itself in my everyday reality. It's a little bit like synchronicity, where the more you start to think about something, the more opportunities you start to see, and the more pieces start to fall together in the puzzle. And I'll elaborate on that. So I had been thinking that the collective intelligence network was going to be something that effectively would be for individuals. All of us are smarter than one of us, and still by and large that's exactly what it is. But that said, I've now come to the conclusion that when this app that will be developed soon, I hope. I'm actually working actively in developing the blockchain for the app. Talking to a university at the minute around that, so it's pretty exciting. That's part of this manifesting thing that I was just talking about earlier. I digress. However, with the app that will be developed, so when someone joins, they can join as an individual, but they can also, I'm thinking now, there's other alternates as well, which is they can join as an organization, as a corporation, and also they can even join as a government. And yes, I've thought this through to the point that now this whole model will actually even work at government sort of level. And hey, why would a government not be interested in being able to create avenues to be able to generate revenue streams that aren't tax? Let that one sit with you for a moment. And by this, what I mean is, by government supporting this initiative, effectively they'll be helping their own people, their own communities, those that are underserved. And I'm looking at potentially kicking this off in some places that would directly benefit, because those of you that have been watching this for a little while will know that part of what I'm doing is trying to level the economic playing field between the first world and the third world. So I would like to see the third world lifted up to more economic parity with the first world. And one way to do that is through something called the weighted universal basic income. So the genesis of how this is realized is that whenever there's an idea commercialized via the collective intelligence network, then the money that's generated from that, part of that money, apart from it going to the idea generators and those that have actually contributed to its genesis and the creation of it, will then go to the weighted universal basic income. So 30% thereabouts. And so that money will then uplift everybody who's in receipt of it. You don't necessarily even have to have done anything to get it. But the kicker is, if you do something with respect to generating an idea that is commercialized, then you'll get not only part of the universal basic income, you'll also get part of the 40% that's being set aside for the people who are actually generating the ideas and contributing to the ideas. So this covers a lot of bases. And so in many respects, the government signing up to this, they will actually also get part of the universal basic income based on their contributions, policies, regulations, startups, incentives, supports, all those sorts of things which can be done. But also they'd have the benefit of being able to have local knowledge applied to their own policies, etc., etc. So then that way they'd actually have people feeding them the information that they're actually looking to use to work better for their people. And because we're using blockchain, this is transparent. And so we're vetting out corruption and a whole raft of other nasties that are in society, unfortunately. But this system, which can actually transform humanity for for much better than just good. It can actually revolutionary change the way we all live our lives. And so that's what I'm pretty excited about. And also it's this whole manifesting thing. I'm getting a little bit mixed up because I had a term told to me which is sort of stuck in my head a little bit, and it's called manifesting. And I found that quite amusing because when you traditionally think of the word festering, it's not a great connotation. But when you apply it to something like manifesting, then you're manifesting something at a much higher growth rate when you're manifesting it. So yes, I'm manifesting this whole collective intelligence network. And on that note, I would ask you, please, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, get involved. Put your spit, solve your problems with individual thought into the spittoon, and we'll see what's back. And the spittoon, by the way, is the comment section. And what's back is we solve the problems all together. And recent insights as well have shown me that a STOP, which is Suggested Thoughts on Passion Projects, is actually an extension in many respects to what would be a cooperative. And by a cooperative, I mean that there would be a group of like-minded people who are all invested in discovering something, learning something, contributing to something, coming up with an answer to something. And their tribe of like-minded others, in conjunction with our saints, Suggested Artificial Intelligence Network Thoughts, who would be able to get all those comments that are being put into the spittoon by everybody with their individual thoughts and all of us solving it together. And then they'll actually come up with their own insights into what it is they're seeing, and people can vet that and check that it's actually right. And if it's not, then they can validate the reasons why it's not. But then they can also elevate their own thinking on whatever it is they're working on. And so yes, this was another aspect that dawned upon me. So for example, if let's have the co-op that's around climate change, for example, and then you'll have subcategories within that broad category, or it might be in health, and then you'd have subcategories that are in health, and so on and so on and so forth, and agriculture. It goes on and on. And so when people join the network, they will be able to have two things happen. One of them will be it will populate with the fields will populate based on your location, what your expertise are, what your skill sets are, what your interests are, and it will populate with problems that are in your local area that you can straight away jump into and start putting your own thoughts to, your own ideas to. And then other people in your community can also contribute, but then also there can be people outside your community, if they've got the skills or the expertise in whatever it is you're trying to work on, then they'll be able to contribute something. And all these things, because it's all tied to a blockchain, will mean that when you register, you'll be registered in to a blockchain. So anything you do will actually be linked to that blockchain. So it will be a record, a digital record that's immutable and also extremely secure, to show what it is you've done, all the contributions you've made, all the areas that you've been involved with and involved on, and then what those contributions were. And then there'll be an algorithm that will actually determine what your contribution is. It's not to say that everything's going to be commercialized. There's obviously a few different streams. You've got humanitarian themes like solving world poverty, for example, and you don't necessarily commercialize and make money out of that, though. Hey, I'm not saying anything's not possible. You can come up with something and you get paid for it, go for it. Solve world poverty. And yeah, I'm really excited by everything that's happening, and I certainly am manifesting as much as I can around this whole subject. I'm reaching out to a whole lot of different areas. We just recently had an announcement for the National Autism Strategy, which I've reached out to federal ministers and state ministers, but the state minister moved me to the federal area because they told me it's not in their portfolio. So I'm still waiting to hear back there. But might even put some of my Zenodo links, because I've now got 7 papers in there. I've expanded on a lot of my thoughts. I've got another one which I just uploaded today, which is called deals a lot with tokenism, and tokenisms, how they play their part in the network, in terms of quadratic voting, and which is a way to sort of the community decides, because this is also part of a decentralized autonomous organization. That is, there's no boss. You guys are the boss. People are the boss. you guys work it out yourselves what it is you want to work on, and then people will vote and say this is our priority, this is what we're focusing on, and it democratizes everything. And yeah, I'm really excited by it. So on that note, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.